Okay, we're going to make an animation where we have a face that is going to have some hair that grows. Each eye is going to blink, and then the mouth is going to change shapes. So here we go. We'll play through it. We can see eyes are blinking, hair is growing, and the mouth changes shapes. So we're going to go through some steps on how to make that happen. I'm going to head up to File, and I'm going to make a new document. And I'm just going to select the full HD 24 frames per second and hit create. I'm going to double click my hand tool to get the stage to center. And our first layer, we're going to put the head. So I'm going to double click and I'm going to rename it. And for the head, it's up to you, but I'm going to go pretty basic for mine. And I'm just going to use the oval tool to make a simple shape. So there it is. If you want a circle, hold down Shift. And if you want to get more creative, please do so. So we got our oval, we have our head shape, and we're going to make a new layer. And this one is going to be our nose. So I'm going to double click and rename the layer. And again, I'm just going to use the oval tool. I'm going to change my colors to mix things up a little bit. Find a different color. Make a nose. And I'm also going to use my free transform tool. And I'm going to rotate it a little bit. I'm going to wait till my cursor has the arrow next to it. That will allow me to rotate things. And then I'll move my nose over. And we're on to the next layer, which we're going to do some eyes. So I'll hit new layer, double click, name it as eyes. And again, I'm going to use my oval tool. And I guess I can use that color is fine. So I'll get my oval tool. I'm actually only going to make one eye, and then I'm going to duplicate it. So I have that. I'm going to change my fill, and I'm going to get an eyeball in there. I'm going to grab my selection tool, select the whole shape. Now I'm holding Alt on my keyboard, and I will click and drag, and making sure to let go of my mouse hand first, and that duplicates what I have. I'm going to select them both and drag them into my face. So there we go. We have our eyes, and we're on to our next layer, and we're going to make a mouth. So I'm going to change my tool to be the brush tool, and I'm going to head over and I'm going to change what my brush looks like. I'm going to use this one that has something a little bit different on it. And let's see, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger too. A little bit bigger. Something like that. And then I'm going to change the color that I have. So that looks fine. And I'll click and draw my mouth. Very nice. Okay, so there's my mouth. And we're on to our last layer, which is going to be the hair. So I'll hit the plus button one more time. I didn't label that one. Mouth. And we're on to hair. Sure, I'm on my hair layer. And for the hair, I'm going to use my brush tool again. And this time, I think I'm going to use a different type of brush. I'm going to use a round brush and make it a little bit smaller. And for the first frame, I'm just going to draw a few little starts of hair. And then in each frame after this, or 10 frames after this, we're going to have it grow a little bit. So we do want all of our layers to show up for the full second, so 24 frames. So I'm going to go back down before I start having the hair grow. And I'm going to head down to the head layer. And I'm going to right click. And I'm going to copy that frame. And I'm going to paste it at frame 24. So I'm just right clicking and pasting that. I'm going to do the same with the nose. So right clicking, copy the frame, which there is keyboard shortcuts. Oops. And I'm going to paste the frame. Same with the eyes. I'm going to copy it and paste it. And the hair. Oh, actually, I'm not going to copy that one. We're going to go to the next frame here. And I'm going to put in a keyframe, which I can use this button. I could also hit F6. And we want our hair to grow a little bit more on the next frame. So I'm going to add a little bit to the ones I started. And then I'll add a few more starts as well. Go to the next frame, insert another keyframe, have it keep growing. And like I said, you're going to have it grow for at least 10 frames. We'll go to here. This time I'll right click and I'll insert a keyframe. If you guys want your character to be more detailed or different, please add detail and make things different. Select the next frame, and I'm going to hit F6 this time. And that'll put in a keyframe there too. Not everybody's animation needs to look exactly the same. I hope it doesn't. So you don't need to copy this exactly what my character looks like. Make it your own. Make it more interesting than mine. Mine's kind of the basic minimum requirements. And I hit the wrong spot. Just do a Control Z. And insert my keyframe. Whoop. Hair's getting a little crazy. And the last one. Okay, now we can scrub through here and see how the hair is growing, and then it disappears. We want it to stay the same all the way through. We want it to have hair till the end. So we're going to copy this frame, and we're going to put it at frame 24. So I'm going to right click, and I'm going to paste that frame in there. So now for the rest of the animation, the hair just stays there. Okay, let's go on. We can lock our head layer because it's going to be static. It's not going to be moving. Same with our nose. We can lock that. It's not going to move. We're going to head to our eye layer, and we're going to have our character blink. So let's have at about frame 8, I'm going to insert a keyframe, and I'm going to have my character blink. I'm getting my selection arrow, and I'm going to hold down Shift to select multiple things. I'm selecting my eye, and I'm going to cut that. So I did a right click, I'm going to cut it, and I'm going to put in a straight line for a blink. So I'm going to get my line tool, and I'm going to make it, okay, so it's going to be black. I'm going to add a little bit of size to it, something like that. And I can draw in just a line to indicate a blink. And if I want to make sure I'm in the right spot there, I can go and I can turn on my onion skins, this button right here, and that will give me a preview of what's before and after that. And I can move my blink to where I want it to go so it's in the right spot. And I'm just hitting the arrow keys. So that looks pretty good. I can turn off the onion skin now. And we'll go to the next frame over, put in a keyframe, and we're going to get rid of the blink, and we're going to paste back in the eyeball. But to paste it, I'm going to go to Edit, and I'm going to paste in place so that it goes back to the same spot. So now we can see we're going to have a blink right there. All right, let's have the other eye blink also. And I'm going to head to frame 16 or so. And yours doesn't have to be exactly the same. And I'm going to insert a keyframe. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to select this eye, holding shift to select multiple shapes. And I'm going to cut that shape. So cut, get my line tool again, and change the size of it a little bit. Draw in my blink line and turn on the onion skin so I can line things up with where they should go, hitting the arrow keys, something like that, I think will work. And now we want to add the eye back in on the next frame. Select the next frame, make it a keyframe, go back and delete the blink, and then paste in place the eyeball. So now that eye will also blink, and we can go back and check out our other ones. If you wanted to have a little more space between that, you could have the blink last for more than one frame, and you could have it be a little bit slower when it does the blink. Just change where that how fast the transition is in between those frames. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is resize the mouth. So we can lock our other layers, and we're going to head to the mouth layer, and I'm going to have that be a motion tween. So I do need to convert my mouth to be a symbol. I'm going to click on it, hold shift to get both pieces of it, and I'm going to convert it to a symbol. You can name it if you want. And we're going to have it do a motion tween. So we're going to do a right click, create motion tween. And about halfway through, it's going to change size. So I'm going to select that frame, insert a key, and I'm going to resize it. So I'm going to use my free transform tool and change the mouth, make it look surprised that its hair is growing. And we can see what it's going to do to change. So our mouth is changing shape. And back to the beginning. And we can preview it. We can hit our loop to have it loop through our preview, drag out what it's going to be previewing, and hit the play button, and we can watch it go. We could also test our movie up here if we want to really get a feel for what it's going to look like. And it's zoomed out. So there's our animation. And those are the basics of it. Hopefully yours will be a little bit more advanced and creative than mine, but that's kind of the minimum.